Hi, Malik. Thank you for meeting with me to talk about ice hockey in Harlem today. I appreciate it. So, you started at 4 years old playing for ice hockey in Harlem in 1996. Can you tell me a little bit about your hockey journey and how it's come full circle because now you're the program director?
Absolutely. So Ice Hockey in Harlem is a nonprofit that's been around for over 30 years. It supports boys and girls from the Harlem community, ages 4 through 18. Everything is free of charge. Kids play a hockey season, special events like skating at Madison Square Garden. And in the summer, our kids go to summer camps all over the US and Canada. So my older brother was a part of Ice Hockey in Harlem. And I was always at the rink from a young age, one, two, every practice. And it's something that I wanted to try and I fell in love with and became obsessed with. And my mom and my brother, we continued that journey together from there on, with both of us playing and my mom being a hockey mom of two. So I started with ice hockey in Harlem. I went on to play travel hockey at a young age. And ultimately, I went to junior boarding school at the Indian Mountain School in Connecticut for 4 years, followed by prep school at Hebron Academy in Maine and the Harvey School in Katona, New York. Again, just the wonderful duo of academics and athletics sort of led me that way. And knowing I wanted to play college hockey, I studied hard and I picked schools where I could play hockey and where I could get a good education. And ultimately, I ended up at Western New England University playing Division III hockey. It's a school in Massachusetts. And it was a wonderful experience. And I graduated with a degree in accounting and finance. And my growing up and playing hockey was different, and graduating college was different from a lot of the kids in the neighborhood around me. And that's all thanks to Ice Hockey in Harlem.
So, how does it feel being back as the program director after starting out at 4 years old there?
It's very unique and special. Obviously, I see a little bit of myself in all the kids, and to be able to put in all the work behind the scenes to make sure everything runs seamlessly and smooth for them is something I take pride in, and I see the joy and in their faces every time they play, every time we go anywhere. Their parents cheering them on and watching them grow and develop as people and as hockey players makes it all worth it. Of course, we want people to fall in love with hockey and want to play hockey and develop the next NHL player. But ice hockey in home is all about building better people.
Great. So Ice Hockey Harlem started in 1987 and it's still going on today. What do you think draws young people to your program?
I think the uniqueness of the sport, there's sort of nothing like ice skating. And then it's a combination of many sports in one. It's like football, hockey, soccer, basketball, all in one sport. So it's physical, it's competitive. Um, it is a game of chess. And I think that while a lot of people of color don't play the game's been played in Harlem for over 30 years. And there is a history to it. So kids are like, oh, my friend did it, I can do it. And also there's a bit of a drive to be different, right? Everyone plays basketball, everyone plays baseball. So it's for some people that it's cool for them to do something different.
Absolutely. So now New York City has been the epicenter of the COVID-19 crisis. What has changed with your program since COVID-19?
So Ice Hockey in Harlem has faced many challenges since COVID-19. Um, the March when it first hit, our program shut down completely in line with everything else in the world. I came on board after that, and we sort of had to start from square one and see what we could do and where we could do it. So last season, our teams were only able to practice once a week. There was a limited capacity on the ice. So it was one team practicing at a time, one day a week, no games on the weekend, no special events, no college visits. And that's what last season looked like. And then obviously dealing with COVID. We were fortunate that there was not a spread of COVID throughout our team or through our programs, but people and families were getting COVID, and obviously safety and the well-being of everyone is our priority. We want to make sure that everyone is okay, first and foremost, aside from hockey. That's continued this season with COVID and the Omicron variant surging through New York, especially through younger kids. We've had people who are unable to play at times, and we've had to cancel practices because people tested positive for COVID. But overall, We've been taking a lot of precautious measures and everything's lined up with the CDC, and we've been able to operate almost at full capacity this year with COVID. Um, Back to playing games on the weekends, team skating. Our biggest challenge, again, with COVID has been our rink closing. So it's sort of a double whammy where everyone's faced with COVID. Does my kid play? Should they play or not? And then our home rink closed. So we've adapted a hybrid schedule at 3 different rinks in New York City.
Oh, wow, but still you're keeping the kids on the ice, which is fantastic. So now I remember when my son played for ice hockey in Harlem, he was in kindergarten. And then the following season, he played for the President's Club, was at the time the diversity program in Washington, D.C. So ice hockey, lucky for us, when he was with the President's Club, ice hockey in Harlem came down to play the President's Club. And it was fantastic watching 2 diversity teams compete against each other. So coming out of COVID, are you going to be able to travel to play other diversity teams? And have you been, like, how has it been before COVID, you traveling to play other diversity teams?
So before COVID, anything was on the table. You know, we'd go as far as Ohio, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., places like that to play any teams that are representative of diversity in the sport, but teams in general that wanted to play us. That has not been possible due to COVID, but that is something that we've talked with local organizations about, local being not too far. Other organizations that have reached out and said, this is what we've done in the past, we want to do this. It's something special every time we get to do something like that for our kids, to see other kids who look like them, going through the same thing through them in other places. And ultimately, that's really something special and priceless that we provide. It's great that we play hockey in our neighborhood, but getting out and seeing the world and different communities is a great thing as well.
Oh, absolutely. And with it being all paid for, I mean, that must be just a fantastic idea to be able to travel to different places with your friends in Harlem and then just go around and traveling to play games. So that's fantastic too.
Definitely.
Now,
The bus rides are a chance for teammates and coaches and parents to bond.
okay, so the other thing that you mentioned was that you play all over New York City. And that was one of the things that I really, loved about your program, that you really went out your way to keep the players busy. In the winter, they played outdoors. In the spring, they played at Chelsea Piers. In the summer, there was a camp in Brooklyn for the kids to participate in for 2 weeks. So are you still doing those things now? And do you find that kids like to stay involved throughout each session, or do they pick and choose which ones they want to be involved in?
So overall, kids and parents do want to be engaged year round. And we are encouraging people to participate in spring ice hockey at Chelsea Piers this year. And we will be sending a lot of kids to Chelsea Piers summer camp and some kids to adventure camp up as well in Maine as well, where they won't touch a hockey stick for 2 months, but they'll get to swim in a lake and go hiking and kayaking and live life in nature. So that's something that we still do, spring hockey and summer hockey, and it's crucial to player development. It's also crucial to the experiences that they don't have, that other kids in the neighborhood don't get, which is what we bring to the table.
Fantastic. Now, so when do kids age out? So you started at 4. So when do they age out and they can't be a part of the program anymore?
So our program is for kids 4 through 18. So they age out when they're 18, when they graduate high school. You have to be 10 or under to start. So all of our kids who are 18 years old, 17 years old right now have been playing for years. Again, the age limit is 10, but many of them started when they're 5, been playing hockey for 13 years.
Wow. And so you're bringing colleges down to see them, so they come down to games, they come down to practice. How are you organizing that?
As far as our college engagement, we do clinics with colleges. We've done a clinic with Boston University and Long Island University this year. Boston University has always had a great relationship with Ice Hockey in Harlem. They come down every year when they play Cornell, and Long Island University is a recently formed men in Division I program that doesn't practice too far from our rink in Queens, where our older kids play. So right now, we're just anyone that can come to us, we will have them. That's been very tough with COVID, not just on our side, on their side as well. They're sort of trying to protect their players. They have people testing positive. We have people testing positive. But in a good year, we would be going to colleges and colleges would come to us.
Okay. So now during Black History Month, we see a lot of emphasis on sports and diversity. Do you think the local community is more interested now in trying hockey than they were when you started out in 1996?
I absolutely think that. I think that the sport has grown on people in the community. I think that, you see the kids walking around with their hockey bags. And I know being one of those people walking around, it's like people in the neighborhood, they just eat it up. They're like, oh my God, Black people play hockey. That's awesome. Like, good for you. Good job. I hope you make the NHL. So there's a lot of community support that's just genuine for kids trying to do something right with their lives. And many people can relate to sports, not just ice hockey, so they know the life lessons that come along with playing sports. And I think that that's really what draws people in.
So now there have been a number of initiatives started to encourage players of color to stick with the sport of hockey. Do you think inner city parents are becoming more aware of these opportunities for students to get scholarships? And do you think that they're looking towards hockey more so than they were for football and basketball in previous generations?
Yes, I absolutely think that people look into it more than in the past. And I would say because of organizations, people, um, that offer support. So this is a support that wasn't around when I was a kid growing up. It was sort of like you were on an island if you were a player of color playing travel hockey or going to boarding school. Now it's more common. There are other people you can talk to about it, people who have done it before and who can guide you along the way. And it's people who play travel hockey and that was it, but they want to be successful. People who played in college, people who played all over. We just did an amazing event at Wallman Rink yesterday with Boko Imama and Anson Carter in response to Boko and Jordan Subban being racially taunted. And they offered support and they said support and they said, we're here for you guys. We're not going anywhere. You need any guidance, look to us. And there are a lot of other foundations out there. 43 Oak Foundation is a great recently formed organization in New York. I went to a skate of theirs at UBS Arena where the Islanders play, and there were 40 players of color from as far as Atlanta and Kansas City, Missouri, and Long Island, all on the ice together, different age groups. One parent even said, for the first time ever, I can't find my kid on the ice. It's very funny, but it's powerful. And there's just also all these forums to create support for people now that was never there before. So it makes it comfortable because it's previously uncomfortable, could be lonely, and you're not sure where you're getting into. But now there are these support forums and people out there, and things and people can relate to and look to in good times and bad times.
Okay, fantastic. I love hearing that. I love hearing that because the more people out there, the more support, the better it is for all of us. Now, so what did you find special about hockey that made you stick with it through college? And what would you say to diversity players with plans to play college hockey?
What I love most about hockey was that it's hard. It's hard. And every time I went out there, I wanted to win. I wanted to score. I wanted my team to win. And to make that happen, you got to work hard. So for me playing hockey, I found out what I was made of. And I was a decent player, the best up until a certain point, then just average and, had to work hard, had to try and crack the lineup. Not sure if you're going to score any given night. But that waking up and giving it your all every day and knowing that's what it takes and stepping up and giving it your all every day, that's what really drew me to hockey and what really I just couldn't get enough of it. It's just a great feeling to go out and give your all to something. And obviously it's a team sport. So alongside people who are sacrificing equally and equally working as hard towards a goal. And most of my teammates didn't look like me, but they always had my back and they always know I had their back. And it's like a second family, and that's the beauty of ice hockey and team sports. And to anyone who wants to play college hockey or hockey at a high level, I would say, write your goals down, make your goals very clear, communicate it to the people in your life, do your research and work hard, right? As they always say, if they're good enough, they'll find you. That is true. Sometimes if you're good enough, they won't find you. I was a walk-on in college, so I had to do my research. I had to know how to work hard, who to get in touch with to train and make it happen on my own. And for people that work hard enough and know that's the goal and believe in themselves at the end of the day, they will get what they deserve.
Great, fantastic. It was wonderful talking to you.
No, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity. You have a wonderful platform yourself. You're using it in all the right ways. I was able to check out your website before and I was sort of blown away. Again, it's another support forum for people and parents and players, not just of color, but in hockey in general. So it's amazing and I love it. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about ice hockey in Harlem, something that's very near and dear to me, but also to all of our participants. We have 150 kids, 150 families who all have a story. And for most of them, it starts and ends with being hockey players.